I'm Emily, 24, and I've been with my boyfriend Jake, 23, for 2 years. We live in a mid-sized city, the kind with strip malls and coffee shops on every corner. Jake and I clicked fast. We love hiking on weekends, winding through trails until we're sweaty and laughing. At night, we binge old sci-fi movies, arguing over whether Star Wars beats Star Trek. He's my best friend, the kind of guy who makes even grocery runs fun. Jake's family lives halfway across the country, so mine has pretty much adopted him. My parents, Tom and Lisa, call him son and invite him to every holiday. My younger sister, Mia, Shinti, thinks he's the coolest. Last Thanksgiving, Jake helped Dad carve the turkey, while Mia quizzed him on his fantasy football picks. It felt like he'd always been part of us. My family's tight-knit, the type to show up with casseroles or throw impromptu barbecues. Jake fits right in. Or so I thought. His birthday was coming up, his first big one since we moved in together, with his parents so far away. I wanted to make it special. Jake's not big on attention, but he lights up when people care. I pictured a night where he'd feel loved, surrounded by my family, who were just as excited to celebrate him. Mom offered to cover the bill, and Mia was already planning a gift. I could see it. Jake grinning, maybe even blushing, as we toasted to his 23rd year. But planning wasn't so simple. I asked Jake where he wanted to eat. Anywhere's fine, he said. Shrugging, I pressed him a few times, but he just waved it off with, "You pick." I figured he trusted me to choose something he'd like. My family loves Luigi's, this cozy Italian place with checkered tablecloths and the best lasagna in town. Jake had raved about their garlic bread before, so it seemed perfect. I booked a table, feeling good about giving him a night to remember. Looking back, I missed something. Jake's easygoing, but he's also quiet about what he really wants. I thought I knew him well enough to guess. My family was all in, texting about who'd bring what gift. I got caught up in the excitement, imagining Jake's smile when we surprised him with a cake. I didn't think twice about picking Luigi's. It was our go-to, a place that felt like home. But maybe home wasn't what Jake needed that night. That excitement to make Jake's birthday perfect carried me into planning mode. With his family so far away, I felt like it was on me to give him a day he'd never forget. Jake's the kind of guy who brushes off his own needs, so I wanted to show him how much he meant to us. A big dinner with my family seemed like the way to go. I could already picture us all laughing, clinking glasses, and making him feel at home. First, I needed a restaurant. I sat Jake down one evening, our usual takeout containers scattered on the coffee table. "Where do you want to eat for your birthday?" I asked, nudging his arm. He shrugged, popping a fry in his mouth. "I don't care. Anywhere's fine." I tried again a couple days later, catching him as he scrolled through his phone. "Come on, Jake, pick a place. Somewhere special." He just grinned and said, "You know what I like. You pick." I laughed, thinking he was just being his laid-back self. In my head, his vagueness meant he trusted me to nail it. So, I chose Luigi's. It's this Italian spot my family loves, tucked in a corner of town with string lights and the smell of fresh basil. The place is always buzzing, waiters singing happy birthday, families sharing huge plates of pasta. Jake had been there with us a few times and raved about the garlic bread. Crispy on the outside, soft inside. Once, he'd even said their lasagna was better than Mom's, which is high praise from him. Luigi's felt like a safe bet, a place where we could all relax and celebrate. My family was all in. Mom called me, her voice bubbling with ideas. "We'll cover the bill." "Honey, let's make it a party." Dad suggested ordering a cake, the kind with extra chocolate frosting Jake loves. Mia, my sister, was already shopping for a gift, a leather journal. Since Jake likes jotting down ideas, I spent nights imagining the scene. Jake's eyes lighting up as we brought out the cake. My parents toasting to his 23rd year, Mia teasing him about getting old. I texted everyone updates, coordinating who'd bring what. Mom even reserved a big table in the back, perfect for our group. But as I planned, a tiny doubt crept in. Jake's "you pick" kept echoing. Was he really okay with anything? Or was I missing something? I pushed it aside. He'd loved Luigi's before, and my family was going all out. I told myself it'd be fine. I wanted this night to be perfect. Not just for Jake, but for all of us. We were his family now, too, and I thought a big, warm dinner at our favorite spot would show him that. Looking back, I was so caught up in the plan, I didn't stop to check if it was the right one. With the plans for Jake's birthday set, I was buzzing with excitement as we headed to Luigi's. But the car ride there threw me off. Jake, usually chatty about work or our next hiking spot, just stared out the window. I tried to lighten the mood, saying, "You're gonna love the cake Mom got." He nodded, barely mumbling, "Cool." His silence felt heavy, like a cloud settling over us. I chalked it up to a long day, but my stomach twisted with unease. At Luigi's, the restaurant hummed with chatter and clinking plates. Our table was decked out with balloons, and my family was all smiles. Mom hugged Jake, Dad clapped him on the back, and Mia shoved a gift bag at him, grinning. "Open it later," she said, winking. They'd gotten him a sleek watch and a sci-fi novel he'd mentioned wanting. I beamed, thinking this was the moment I'd pictured Jake surrounded by love. But he wasn't himself. He smiled politely, said thanks, and sat quietly, hands folded. When the waiter came, Jake didn't order. "I'm good," he said, waving off the menu. My heart sank. He loves Luigi's lasagna, so why wasn't he eating? Mom tried to draw him out, asking about his job. He answered in short sentences, his voice flat. Mia caught my eye and mouthed, "Is he okay?" I shrugged, forcing a smile. The table felt off, like we were all pretending everything was fine. Then the cake arrived chocolate, with Happy 23rd, Jake, in blue icing. We sang, and he blew out the candles, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. My family kept the mood up, joking and passing plates. Jake nodded along, playing along, but I could see the strain. He was being polite, not present. I kept stealing glances, hoping he'd loosen up, but he stayed distant, like he was somewhere else. Mom whispered to me, "Everything all right with you two?" I lied, saying, "Just tired, I think," but I wasn't sure. Had I missed something? Was he mad at me? The car ride home was worse. The silence from earlier came back, thicker now. I gripped the steering wheel, searching for words. "Did you have fun?" I asked, my voice too bright. "Yeah, it was nice," he said, looking out the window again. That was it. No jokes, no warmth. When we got home, he grabbed his keys. "Gonna grab some food," he muttered, heading out before I could respond. My chest tightened. He hadn't eaten at Luigi's, and now he was leaving. Something was wrong, and I didn't know how to fix it. Jake's abrupt exit to grab food left me standing in our quiet apartment, the weight of the night crashing down. I'd spent weeks planning his birthday, picturing his smile at Luigi's, but instead, I'd gotten silence and a closed-off Jake. My mind spun. Had I ruined his day? I sank onto the couch, replaying every moment, trying to figure out where it went wrong. Guilt hit first. Choosing Luigi's seemed like a no-brainer. Jake loved it before, didn't he? But now I wondered if I'd been selfish, picking a place my family loved without really thinking about him. Maybe he wanted something quieter, just us, not a big family affair. I should have pushed harder when he said, "You pick." My stomach churned, thinking about his empty plate at dinner. The way he barely spoke. I'd wanted to make him feel special, but I'd missed the mark, and it hurt. Confusion piled on. Jake's never been one for big fights. He's the guy who talks things out over coffee. So why the silent treatment? Was he mad at me? My family? Or both? I thought back to Mom's question at dinner. "Everything all right with you two?" Maybe she saw something I didn't. Did Jake resent how close my family is? How they pulled out all the stops? I kept picturing his forced smile as we sang Happy Birthday, like he was trapped in a moment he didn't want. It didn't add up. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through our texts from the past week. Nothing stood out, no hints he was upset before tonight. I wanted to call him, ask what was wrong, but he was out there, probably grabbing a burger to make up for the meal he skipped. That stung worst of all. He'd rather eat alone than share our table. Was our relationship in trouble? Or was this just a bad night? I felt lost, like I'd broken something precious and didn't know how to fix it. I opened my laptop and typed up my story, spilling everything, the planning, the dinner, Jake's silence. I needed perspective. Was I the asshole for picking Luigi's? I thought I was doing something nice, but maybe I'd ignored what Jake really wanted. My family went all out with gifts and cake, but it wasn't enough. I stared at the screen, my plea for advice staring back. How do I make this right? I just wanted Jake to feel loved, but now I'm scared I've pushed him away. After posting about Jake's disastrous birthday dinner, I spent 2 days replaying his silence, my guilt gnawing at me. I couldn't let it fester. Jake had barely spoken since he got back from grabbing food that night, and our apartment felt like a pressure cooker. I needed answers. So, Saturday morning, I found him on the couch, scrolling through his phone. I took a deep breath and sat beside him. "Jake, we need to talk about your birthday," I said, my voice shaky but firm. He put his phone down, eyes wary. "Okay. What's up?" I dove in, apologizing for picking Luigi's. "I thought you'd love it. I'm so sorry it wasn't what you wanted," he sighed, running a hand through his hair. It wasn't just the restaurant. It was everything. Your family took over, and I felt like a guest at their party, not the birthday guy. I wanted something small, just us. Maybe at that sushi place I like. My heart sank. Sushi. He'd never mentioned it. But then I remembered his you-pick answers. I'd assumed too much. I felt a flicker of defensiveness. "My family went all out for you," I said, softer than I felt. "Mom paid. Mia got you that journal. I thought it'd make you happy." Jake nodded, but his jaw tightened. "I appreciate it, but it's like I'm always tagging along with your family's plans. I just wanted one night that felt like mine." That hit hard. I'd been so caught up in making it special, I hadn't really listened to him. We talked for an hour, laying it all bare. Jake admitted he should have spoken up. "I didn't want to sound picky," he said, shrugging, "but I guess I shut down instead. I owned my part, too rushing to plan without checking in." It wasn't easy hearing I'd made him feel overlooked, but it cleared the air. We weren't yelling or crying, just talking, like we used to over late-night coffee runs. Later, I checked the AITA post. Hundreds of comments had poured in. Some called me clueless but well-meaning. "NTA, but listen to his needs next time." Others said Jake needed to communicate better. "He can't expect you to read his mind." One stuck with me. "Plan something he loves. Just you two. Show him you're hearing him." That felt right. I pitched a makeup dinner to Jake and just us at his favorite sushi spot. "Hana's." His face lit up. "You serious?" he asked, a grin breaking through. I nodded, relieved to see the old Jake. We booked Hana's for next weekend, and I promised to double-check his preferences from now on. Jake said he'd be clearer. 2 no more whatever answers. It wasn't a magic fix, but it felt like a start. I'm still nervous about balancing my family's enthusiasm with what Jake wants. But we're talking again, and that's something. I'm hopeful we can figure this out together, one step at a time. After our talk cleared the air, Jake and I were determined to move past the birthday mess. Last weekend, we had our makeup dinner at Hana's, his favorite sushi spot. The place was quiet, with soft lighting and bamboo decor, perfect for just us. We shared a spicy tuna roll, laughing when Jake dropped his chopsticks. He opened up about work stress, and I told him about a new hiking trail I found. It felt like us again, like we'd hit reset. I could breathe easier, seeing his real smile. But then, a new challenge popped up. My family, who'd been so excited for Jake's birthday, felt stung by how it went down. Mom called me a few days after our talk, her voice tight. "We tried so hard." "Emily, did Jake not like us?" Mia was quieter, saying Jake seemed off at Luigi's. I explained he just wanted a low-key night, but it didn't fully land. Things got awkward at our next family game night. We were playing Uno at Mom and Dad's, cards flying and everyone teasing like usual. Jake joined in, but Mom was cooler than normal, skipping her usual "how's work?" "Jake." Questions. Mia kept glancing at me, like she expected Jake to bolt. He noticed, getting quieter as the night went on. "In the car?" he said. "Your family's mad at me, aren't they?" I hated that he felt that way. A friend suggested a couples workshop, and we signed up, figuring we could use some tools. It was at a community center, led by a peppy counselor named Sarah. We did exercises on active listening, repeating back what the other says to make sure you get it. Jake and I practiced with small stuff, like me saying, "I feel crowded when my family takes over," and him echoing it back. It sounds cheesy, but it worked. One night, over coffee, Jake opened up more. "My family's so far away. I'm used to doing things solo," he said. "Your family's awesome, but sometimes I feel like I'm getting absorbed into their world." It clicked. His silence at Luigi's wasn't just about the restaurant. It was about feeling like his voice got lost in my family's enthusiasm. I started seeing things from his side. My family's big. Loud love is my normal. But for Jake, it can feel like too much. I talked to Mom, explaining Jake's need for space. She softened, admitting she took his birthday reaction personally. Mia promised to chill. 2. At the workshop's last session, we made a plan. We'd check in weekly, just us, to talk about what we need. It's simple, but it's helping. I'm hopeful we're finding balance. But I know it's a work in progress. My family's part of me, and Jake's my future. Figuring out how they fit together is the real challenge. The work we put in after that tense family game night paid off. But it took time to see the full picture. 2 years later, Jake and I are engaged, living in a cozy apartment with a balcony where we sip coffee on weekends. That birthday disaster at Luigi's feels like a lifetime ago, but it was a turning point. It forced us to face our communication gaps head-on, and I'm grateful for it, even if it stung at the time. Looking back, the AITA post and that awful night taught us to talk, really talk. After the workshop, we stuck to our weekly check-ins. They're not always deep. Sometimes we just vent about work or plan a hike, but they keep us honest. Now, when we plan anything, birthdays, holidays, even pizza nights, we decide together. Last year, for Jake's 25th, we skipped restaurants entirely. We grilled burgers in our tiny backyard, just us, with a playlist he picked. He grinned all night, and I knew we'd figured something out. My family's come a long way, too. After our talks, Mom and Dad started seeing Jake as his own person, not just Emily's boyfriend. Mom asks him about his projects now, not just mine. Dad bonded with him over fixing our old car. Grease on their hands and laughing like old friends. Mia's still the loudest, but she checks herself, making sure Jake feels included, not steamrolled. At Christmas, Jake suggested inviting my parents to our place for a change. We co-hosted a holiday party, stringing lights and baking cookies. Jake manned the playlist while I served hot cocoa. Seeing him joke with Dad by the tree, I felt like we'd built a new kind of family, one where Jake has his own space. That birthday mess showed me how easy it is to assume you know someone's heart. Jake's distance from his own family makes him guard his independence. And I didn't get that before. Now, I listen harder. He's learned to speak up. 2. No more whatever shrugs. We're not perfect last month. We bickered over wedding venues, but we talk it out. No silent treatments. Our engagement feels like a promise to keep growing. Together, I owe a lot to the AITA folks who chimed in back then. Your advice, listen to him. He's not a mind reader, stuck with me. You helped me see I wasn't a bad guy, just a little clueless, and that I could fix it. Relationships aren't about grand gestures or perfect plans. They're about showing up, hearing each other, and respecting what makes you, you. Jake and I are stronger for it, and I'm excited for what's next.